Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chantel, and today I thought we would do an updated tutorial on Goodnotes. No Goodnotes number. They have recently upgraded the whole app, and now it is simply called Goodnotes, which I think is a good move, but they changed a lot in the app. So my most recent tutorial, which was like about a year ago, is a little outdated now because a lot of the tools look a little different. You can do all the same things, but we need to learn how to do them all over again. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to download a planner, how to import one, how to create your own notebook, how to use all the pen tools, how to click all the links, all the things that you can do in Goodnotes. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Down below, I'm going to have all of the chapters linked. So if you need to circle back to a certain part of the video, you'll be able to find it super easily. And let's go ahead and get into it. So this is what the inside of my Goodnotes looks like. Just keep in mind that if you're brand new, all of these notebooks won't be in here. You can go ahead and add your own, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing I want to show you how to do is how to just add a blank notebook. So up at the top here, you can go ahead and tap on that, and you'll see you have some options. You have notebook, text doc, whiteboard, import, quick record. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is notebook. This is probably what you'll use the most often. And here you can choose your cover and the paper for inside of your notebook. This is pretty straightforward. You go ahead and tap on cover. You can scroll down and choose any of these colorful templates that you want. You can change the colors of them as well. So say I chose this little simple one, I can go ahead and click on color, and I can choose any color that I want. I can also go ahead and select the size and the orientation of that page as well, and the notebook as a whole. And then I can go ahead and name it here. So I'm just going to call this notebook just as a quick example. And if I tap on paper, I can go ahead and choose the paper type that I'm going to have inside of my notebook. So you have your basic options, your blank, your dotted, your graph, your lined, your Cornell, but you also have like planner pages if you want to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a blank one for now. And once I'm in here, you'll see I have my cover and I have one sheet of paper. And if I just pull my page over to the side, I'm adding pages as I go. So you can do that if you want to add more pages. Another option you have is to click this little plus button. And if you tap on that, you can choose to add the current template. And you could also choose to add any template from inside that template library we were just looking at. So don't feel like you're stuck with one. You can always adjust this as you go, and you can change the color and things as well. So let's go ahead and add a ruled wide piece of paper. And I'm going to go ahead and click on color here and then customize colors. And I'm going to choose to have a blue page, and I'm going to have pink lines. Hopefully you guys can see that. And if I hit apply, as you can see, now I have that new template that I want in here, and I can pull it over and keep adding pages that way. Now you have a bunch of your pen tools up here, and I'm going to show you how to use that in a second. But first, I want to show you how to add another document. So say you're bringing in a planner, whatever you're doing, whatever you want to bring in, you want to tap on home, and you're going to go back to that same page that we were already in. Now, what I'm going to add is my planner. And if you're brand new to downloading planners or downloading PDFs on your iPad, this might be helpful as well. So I'm just going to open up Safari. This is my website, but you can use any planner that you want. I'm going to go ahead and choose my 2026 planner and check out. So once that option has gone through, you'll see you have a little download here button. You can go ahead and click on that to access your files. It'll also email them to you. And when you click download here, you're going to get this little page, and it's going to show you all of the documents that you just bought. So I have a Sunday start and a Monday start in every single planner listing. I personally like Sunday start, so that's what I'm going to show you how to use, but you can download and save both of these. Now, I would highly recommend saving these documents to your Goodnotes. You have two options here. You can go ahead and click on this little, it looks like a little square with an arrow pointing up, and that's your little save and export button. If I click on that, I can go ahead and just choose Goodnotes, and it will go ahead and import, and I can hit import as a new document straight into Goodnotes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and click import as a new document. And now you'll see I have that new planner here. And the other way that I like to do this, and this is my favorite way to do it, is to go ahead and save it to your files. So go ahead and click on that same button. I'm going to hit more, and now I'm going to save to files. I'm going to put this on my desktop, but you can put it anywhere you want. I have two of these already, so I'm going to go ahead and click replace. And now that you have it saved somewhere, go back to your Goodnotes, go back to your home, click on new, and this time you're going to want to click on import. And now I'm just going to go to wherever I had saved that particular file, click on it and hit open. And there you can see that you've added the planner that way. So you could do this with any document that you want. So once you get into your planner, you can go ahead and just slide through your pages this way. But in a lot of planners, that's a lot of pages. So most of us have added these things called hyperlinks. They're just little links so you can navigate your planner easier. If you go ahead and tap on these little buttons on the side, I have them linked to every single month, so you can just jump around that way. I can tap on my week to go to my corresponding week, and I can tap on my day to go to my corresponding day. It just makes navigating the planner so much easier than having to scroll through it. I'm going to go ahead and hit on home, and it'll take me back to my index. So all these buttons are clickable, and I can just kind of jump around if I want to. If you want to use your Apple Pencil, you have to make sure that you're on read-only mode. So there's this little button up at the top that I can go ahead and tap on, and it will turn my top bar from blue to gray. When the top bar is gray, all of my pen tools are off. I'm in read-only mode, and now I can click on all of those buttons with my finger and with my Apple Pencil. So my preference is my Apple Pencil, so that is why that's important to me. But if it's not, you can go ahead and use your fingers, and you could use it both ways. Now, if I want to use my pen tools, I'm going to go ahead and click on read-only mode, and my top bar is going to turn from gray to blue. And as you can see, now I have a bunch of tools up here that I could use. The first one is my lasso tool. So I can choose to have a rectangular or a freehand lasso, and you'll see that I can choose to turn on and off all of these toggles. So there's handwriting, images, shapes, arrows, text boxes, equations, tape, comments, sticky notes, and I can disconnect my Apple Pencil. Don't click on that. But all of these will mean that if I want to move some things on my page and not others, I can just turn off certain bits. So say I want to move my handwriting, but not a sticky note, I can turn on handwriting and I can turn off sticky notes. And when I lasso that thing, I'll only move what I want to move. So let me show you an example. I have this done here. So this little espresso martini is a sticker. And over here I have writing. So if I go ahead and click on my lasso tool and I have everything selected, I can lasso that whole thing and I can move the whole thing anywhere that I want. If, say, I want to just move my handwriting and not the sticker, I can tap on my lasso tool, turn off images, and now when I grab that same area and move it, I'm just picking up my handwriting and not the image. So it comes in really handy when you have really complex spreads and you start to get into more decorative kind of planning. This is really fun. So something that I recommend kind of playing around with, and it becomes very, very helpful. This is a tool you're going to use all of the time. And if you want that to be rectangular or freehand is entirely up to you. They work exactly the same way. So the next thing you have here is your pen tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And underneath that pen tool, you'll have a bunch of options. The first one is your actual pen. So you have three options here. You have a fountain pen, a ball pen, and a brush pen, and you can adjust these to your preferences. My very favorite is a ball pen. If you're brand new to Goodnotes, I suggest starting on your ball pen and using a thicker stroke. I'll show you how to adjust that in a second, but the thicker the stroke, and if you use a ballpoint pen, that's going to be the easiest way to make your handwriting look nice. And then once you get the hang of it, you can adjust and use the brush pen or the fountain pen if you want to. That's just my recommendation. You can also change the stroke stabilization here as well. If you're new and you want to kind of increase the stroke stabilization, that's going to make your writing a little bit smoother as well. So I recommend kind of playing around with those as well. I'm going to start with the ball pen. And then over here on the right, you'll see that you have a thin line, a medium-sized line, and a thick line. And these correspond to thin, medium, and thick strokes. So if I click on this thin one and I make a line here, it's going to be a thin line. If I click on the thick line and I make a line here, it's going to be a thick line. And if you tap into any of these, you can adjust those as well. So I can adjust the pen thickness here, and I can also adjust if I want that to be a solid line, a dashed line. So if I click on dashed here and I make a line, it's going to be a dashed line. And if I click on dotted here and I make a line, it's going to be a dotted line. So you can adjust these, and whatever you have this set at, it'll stay at. So the next time you come back into it, it's going to be what you set that at. So I personally like to keep them at solid, but you can adjust that to whatever you would personally like to use. And I like to set a thick line. I like to set a medium line that I usually do about 0.5 millimeter, and then a thin line, which I usually do about 0.3 millimeter, but everyone has their own preferences. And then over here, you're going to notice you have some circles with colors in them. If you tap on those are going to show you your preset pen colors, and you'll have some that are already pre-selected that you can choose and write with. And you can also adjust these to whatever color that you want. So you can go ahead and click on custom here, and you can choose any color that you want out of this little grid system. Or you can click on this little wheel and pick any color from the wheel this way. So completely up to you. And once you find some colors that you like, you can go ahead and click on this plus button to add them to your presets. And now when you come back in to your presets, any of your new colors that you add will be there as well. You can also add your colors directly to your little bar here for easy access. So say I wanted to add this red, it's going to now show up in my little, like my quicker menu. So if I wanted to switch between writing with black and then writing with red, I could do that just like that. And all of your preferences will come to you over time. So I recommend kind of starting simple and building up, and you can just keep tweaking it to whatever your preferences become over time. Now we made a little bit of a mess here, so it's perfect time to get to the next tool, which is our eraser tool. So if you tap on that and you tap on it again, you'll see you have 3 eraser options. You have a precision eraser, a standard eraser, and a stroke eraser. Your precision eraser is going to be just like it says, a precise eraser. So just where I put that eraser, it's going to erase. If I hit the standard eraser, it's just going to eat a little bit more of that line every time I hit it. And if I hit the stroke eraser, it's going to erase my entire stroke at once. So it just kind of depends how much you're trying to erase at a time and how quickly you want to do it. On the right here, you can choose between a thin eraser, a medium eraser, or a thick eraser. Next up, you have a pencil tool. This works exactly like your pen tool, except it's with pencil. So I can go ahead and write. I can change the thinness and the thickness of this pencil however I would like, and I can also change the color in the exact same way we did with the pen. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase that. The next thing we have is our highlighter tool. Again, works exactly the same way, except it is not opaque, it's transparent. So I can go ahead and say I want to highlight this. I'm still going to be able to see my writing underneath, just like I would with a highlighter. Another thing that you can do is if you go into your eraser, you'll see that you can choose to erase your highlighter only. So say you're annotating in a document and you want to erase your highlighter. If I have erase highlighter only, if I erase this section, it's only going to erase my highlighter and not my pen. So another really helpful little toggle that you can turn on and off depending on what you're doing. The next thing we have is a tape tool. And as you can see, there is a way that the Goodnotes tools work. So you can choose your thickness here, just like you would with your pen, your pencil, or your highlighter. And then you can choose the color. And the fun thing with the tape tool is if you go ahead and click the little plus button here, you can upload any file that you want to turn into a tape, or you can customize a preset. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on customize a preset. I can pick a pattern here that I like, and I can change the colors to really whatever I prefer. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this blue and pink, so hopefully you can see it. And I'm gonna go ahead and select a thin tape. And I can place my tape down here, and maybe I'll do a thicker one so you can see it better. Okay, I'm gonna select a thick tape, and now I can lay my tape down. And the cool thing about the tape is that if you tap on it, it'll disappear. You'll see a little faint line underneath, but this is really great if you're studying, if you wanna say cover up terms and then quiz yourself and then show them after. So you can just tap them to bring it back and tap it again for it to go away. So this is a fun thing to kind of mess around with. I think it's especially helpful if you're a student, but I also like to use them for decorative purposes. So I'm gonna go ahead and erase that. And those are all the important tools that I think that you would need to know. The other thing we have here is a shape tool. So if I go ahead and use that and draw certain shapes, it'll snap to a perfect shape. Okay, so those are our pen tools. The next thing we're gonna look at is our text box. So if you hate your handwriting, this is a great one to use in the meantime. I highly recommend trying to get used to the pen and the pencil and the highlighter tools, because the more you use those, the better you're gonna be at using your iPad just generally. That's just a little tip from me to you. But of course, you can use the write to text function if you'd like to as well. So go ahead and click on that little T, and that's your little text box. It's easy to remember. And you'll notice when you click on that, no little menu comes up underneath. You have to just go ahead and tap wherever you want to write, and it's going to place a text box for you, and it gives you a formatting option underneath here. So I'm going to go ahead and write, and it will go ahead and turn that into my default settings that I've saved myself. So under here in your little menu, I can go ahead and highlight that and change the size. I can change the font if I'd like to as well. and I can also change the color. And once I do that, and I like something specific, I'm gonna go ahead and click on the 3 dots here. And as you can see, I'm not seeing save to default here. So all I wanna do is tap out. So I'm gonna tap on my pen tool, then tap on my text tool again, tap on it again, click on that same 3 dots, and now you'll see there's a little box that says save as default. I'm gonna click on that. And now the next time I use my text box and say I'm gonna place a text box somewhere else, and then it's going to automatically use those default settings. So you can adjust that to kind of whatever your preferences are. And really this is just a matter of personal preferences. So you'll see you'll have options to change the size, the color, the font. You can use any fonts that you want. You can download fonts and then use these apps to kind of install whatever custom fonts you want on your iPad. You can also click this little button. It looks like a little square and it gives you an option to add a text box. So say I'm gonna use this little peach one. I can go ahead and add a text box around my writing, and I can change the color of this as well if I click on advanced. So you can kind of play around with this and make these look however you want. The next tool we have here is the Elements tool, and this is where I save stickers, but you can save anything. So say I want to save this little cloud that I've written that says hello, it's me on it. I don't know why I wrote that, but I can go ahead and lasso this whole thing. And then I can go ahead and click on these 3 dots and I can create an element. I'm going to go ahead and just add that to a new collection just as a little example. And create. And now if I go into my elements, I can find that collection and I can put that down anywhere I want and resize it to whatever I want it to be. So it's really great if you are someone who uses the same things over and over and over again. Say you write like reset day every Sunday, you can go ahead and save it. If you've written it a specific way that you like, you can save it that way. If you're studying and you use the same equation a bunch of times, you can go ahead and save those too. It comes in really handy. I personally like to use it for stickers. So I have sticker packs that I have available and I have them available as little images. So you can go ahead and add them yourself and you could use this with any images that you find. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Elements tool and show you a little sticker pack that I have here. So I can click on these stickers and I can move them wherever I want. And this works across any document that I have in my GoodNotes. So say I want to use the same sticker or the same element that I'm using in my planner and a note I'm taking for class, I'm able to do that and really make it all really seamless and easy to use. You can add these elements really easily by going ahead and tapping on your elements. And then down at the bottom here, there's a little scroll bar. You're going to scroll all the way until you see a little plus. Tap on that and you can add a new collection. There's a button here that says import from. And so I can go ahead and find wherever I have these saved. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my stickers here. If you're using my stickers, open up the PNGs and you'll be able to see all of the images that way and tap them to add them in. Another thing that you can do actually is I'm going to switch this into landscape, turn this into a window, and then I can actually open up my files in a little separate tab here and I can grab them and drag them in that way. I can also select all and drag them all in at once. So that's a really easy way to do it. There's also an option to add GoodNotes collection files, but sometimes I find that to be a little glitchy. So I do have those as well, and they're really easy to add. If you click on just a collection file, it will add them all, everything from the collection in at one time. But I like to show you this way just in case. So in case that doesn't work, this one works 100% of the time. And now that we've added those stickers, as you can see, I have them here, and I can go ahead and tap them and bring them wherever I want to. I'll show you really quick how to add a collection file as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, click on that plus button, and then this time when I click on import from, I'm going to go to that same sticker file that I had. And as you can see, I have a little collection file. It looks like a little zip file. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that, and it will just automatically add all of the stickers. That way, I think both are pretty much, they take the same amount of time, so it's really up to you and your personal preference, but it does automatically title your sticker collection, so really up to you and what your preferences are. So if I go ahead and click on create, it'll work the same way as pulling in those PNGs. The next tool in our toolbar is the image tool. This is pretty straightforward. It just allows you to add any images that you have saved in your camera roll. So I'm going to go ahead and add something, and you can adjust the size and use this however you would like. You also have a little button here. It looks like a little square with a couple of little pieces coming out of it. It's the crop function. And if you go ahead and click on that, you can choose to crop it rectangularly or freehand. If I do freehand, I can kind of write or draw whatever I want and then click on done, and it will cut out into whatever shape I prefer. So this is really great if you want to have that more like cut out of a magazine kind of look. I use this all of the time. And then we have a little button here that is called shapes. So just like the shapes inside of your pen tool, except you have a couple of extra features. So I'm gonna go ahead and select a little square here, and I can place a couple of these wherever I want. And I can change the color of these as well. And then you'll see you have an option to adjust the size as you go and write in them. You can kind of customize these to whatever you want. And then you have a connector button here. So if I want to connect these two, I'm able to do that. You can choose if you want them to be at a harsh angle or if you want them to be more round. You can also change, if you tap into it, you can also change the stroke settings and the arrowheads, as well as the thickness of the lines. So this is really great if you like to make mind maps. They have a whiteboard tool inside of Goodnotes that I can kind of deep dive on if you want to see that later, but I don't want to make this video too long. But if you like to make mind maps, this is great to use in there or in whatever notebook that you want. Then we have a sticky notes tool. This is pretty straightforward as well. You can go ahead and select your color and then place a sticky note wherever you want. You can change the shape and size of this as well. And then in the corner, you've got a laser tool. So if you're using this to maybe teach someone something and you want to gesture to an area and then you want it to fade, you can go ahead and use the laser tool. And in the corner here, you have an option to record and summarize. So if you want to record at the same time as you're taking notes, you're able to do that. You're able to show your recordings here. There's a zoom window. This is cool. So if you're learning how to write, especially, I really like this. You're able to use this little zoom window and put it wherever you want. And then down here, you're able to use your tools to write larger and it will show up exactly where you want in that little zoom window. The next thing you have is a ruler. This is pretty straightforward. You can use this ruler to make straight lines. And then you have a timekeeper, and that just allows you to set a stopwatch. So if you're timing yourself, maybe you're quizzing yourself, you're able to do that in the corner right in the app as well. And those are all the basic tools to get you up and going. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information. And this is really all you need to master to be able to write whatever you want. Highly recommend playing with the lasso, the pen tool, and the text tool the most, and maybe that elements tool and the images tool as well. And you can kind of adjust that. And that's really all you need to know how to do to take notes and to plan. And the rest is really just practice. So if you have any questions, let me know down below. I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. I have another tutorial on Goodnotes that I will leave in the comments as well that might help you if you need a little extra assistance. And I tend to do monthly plan with me so I can show you how I use the app in real time as well. Let me know if there's anything else I can help you with, and I will catch you next time. Bye.